No need to give it up. Had about enough.
The boy is mine.
Is mine.
Jeez. I'm sorry
I
that you
needed you.
seem to be confused.
Confused.
He belongs to me. The boy is mine. Why you do the things you do? Keep on acting like a fool. Yeah, I don't know the rest.
Neither do I.
It's a wonder we even have a podcast, the way these men go on. Like, how do we get anything done? What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 77 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast. With your boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
Yo.
myself, Yemi. We're back after a short hiatus. How you guys doing today?
Blessed and highly favoured, man. How are you?
Always. I'm the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys back. We've had a couple guests for the last couple episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Shout out to
yeah.
Novelist and Lord Apex for coming
big up,
down.
big
But
up.
Salute.
you know, the three are back.
It's been a minute, innit?
It has been a minute.
It's been a
like
little while. God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good.
All the time going is
There
good.
we
It's
go.
been like over a month.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been hearing the streets want us back. You know what I mean? So
Can I say, man?
we got to provide that. I was going to say crack, but it's not crack.
No.
But,
Whoa.
we move.
Say no to
Whoa.
crack, man.
Crack is whack, kids. Crack is whack.
Sound like the Reagans. But it's all good. Shout out to Drake's in the cut as well.
Big up Drake.
So,
Cameraman
man,
Supreme.
Always.
Come on now.
You sound, bro?
I'm all good, bro.
Lovely stuff.
Blessed, man.
Yeah,
Blessed,
not
Blessed, black
bad.
and
Not
highly
bad.
favoured.
I noticed you're wearing the gunner's cap.
Ew.
I hear it.
Say ill.
Yeah. To be fair, you lot are doing well.
Don't talk about my team. Respect.
But as soon as you guys played one of the big guys,
Cool.
you know what I mean?
Was Napoli big?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Biggest game of the season so far.
We always struggle against Napoli, though.
That's fair.
They smoked our
They
boots.
smoked us.
What about
on my
Fulham?
days. Fulham?
Yeah.
Boy.
Poor performance.
Boy.
We haven't played well this season, bro.
I don't know why we're so
I'm a
defensive.
truth teller, man. I shame the devil and tell the truth all the time, bro.
I respect that.
No, I'm not spudding you.
Bro, you're going to be hanging?
I won't leave you hanging.
Why? Because your team's fourth?
Yeah.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault. Hey, man.
Listen, man, you don't need any more praise than you're giving yourself. So, you're good.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
man.
It's Arsenal, isn't it? It was only a matter of time.
Was it?
It was only a matter of time before we come back.
It's not over yet, bro. You've played like how many games?
I'm not
4
about winning the
games?
title, though. I just mean us being a serious club.
Alright, cool.
It was only a matter of time.
Until you're back in the Champions
You've only been
League.
a serious cup for like 5 games. Can we just
Fam.
relax?
No, in terms of the actual, when you look at our starting 11, it's not. But we had Mustafi, Socrates for a long time. Just looking at our starting 11, it looks like a serious
No,
11.
listen. My bias hat to the side. You guys are doing very, very well.
Nah, when you man got Trent as your right back, don't talk to me, fam. The
Oh,
guy,
wow.
brother can't defend to save his life.
I agree.
Thank you. And Joe Gomez. You remember when Joe Gomez was the promised child? Look at him now. Yuck.
He had a bad game. Still
Yeah.
very good.
He had a terrible game. But,
Thank you.
But he's still. You know what I mean?
Players don't become shit overnight, man.
Tell that to
Well,
Fernando
Arsenal
Torres.
players
Huh?
Tell that to Fernando
He
Torres.
didn't become shit overnight.
Fernando Torres, I feel like.
gradual. That was
You
gradual.
don't feel like Torres became shit overnight?
Absolutely not. That was gradual.
I just.
Well, he was injured a lot the year he left Liverpool to go Chelsea, and then he just wasn't the same after that.
What about Mo Salah?
Mo Salah.
What about him?
Is he going to show up this season?
Yeah, of course.
All right,
Just give him some time.
Yeah, give him
Fair
some
enough,
time.
fair enough. I heard he got that money and he's living now, but
Where?
what do I know?
When I said I'd rather keep Mane, certain man were looking
Certain
at me
man were
like
looking
I
at you
was a
like,
sociopath.
yep, I remember that.
I mean, money wants to leave.
You would have stayed.
Because you lot didn't
If you
treat
would have
him.
given him the money, you would have stayed.
You lot didn't treat him right.
I don't know, man. I think
Nah?
he just wanted a new challenge.
Nah, you lot didn't treat him right. You lot prioritized.
No, we definitely didn't treat him
I
right.
think so.
Yeah, you
We
lot
definitely
didn't
didn't treat him right. But
Racism.
it's probably no.
It is definitely racism.
How was it not?
It's
how?
racism. It's racism.
It always
How?
is, though, isn't it?
It always is. I
How?
don't know how to
From
explain to you.
who?
I'm just telling you what it is. Don't get angry at me. All I know is
So,
when there's,
okay,
when there's the
alright.
brother man,
So is Arteta racist to Aubameyang?
Because he treated him bad, man.
All right then.
there's a difference.
Oh, shock.
There's a difference.
Alright.
I'll tell you what the difference is. And I don't know how this is going to come across. But Mane is... Actually, nah, I don't even know. Nah, Arteta's not racist. I just feel like with Mane, it was racism. And I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like they prioritized everyone over him.
We'll discuss this on our As Yet Unannounced Football podcast.
That's a great shout. That's a great
But
shout.
until then, we are sticking to the music.
I got sidetracked.
No, that's all good. That's all good. We all did. But thank you to everybody for listening. Shout out to the YouTube massive. Shout out to the SoundCloud massive, the Spotify massive, the Apple Podcast massive, the Amazon Music massive, and every other massive out there. Appreciate your patience. But here we are, back, ready to pod. To all of our new followers as well. I know we've gained a lot of new followers over the last couple of weeks and months. Welcome. You know what I mean? We're just 3 black boys from London talking about rap, this thing that we love. And yeah, we hope you enjoy the ride,
It's
basically.
because of your viral tweet.
Yes.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I did a tweet.
In what state?
I was drunk. So I was in sunny Mallorca, Spain. And it was like maybe midnight, 1 a.m. And I just thought to myself, yo, everybody talks about Stormzy and J Hus and Dave was like,
Yeah, I know.
Everybody-
In Mallorca, of all places.
Yeah, the music, the wine was flowing, the
Man said
music
he's
was
got the
flowing.
sun, the beach, the drink.
Yeah, we had a balcony. Hey. We were on a balcony. Me and my babes. We were on a balcony, just chilling, watching the life go by. And it just came to me like, yo, we talk about Stormzy, J Hus, and Dave as the big three a lot of the new gen, but Koji Radical, Nux, and Little Sims deserve to be a 3 as well.
And you said you want the world to hear that.
Basically, I didn't think the whole world would hear it, but shit. Wake up the next day, hundreds of likes, lots of conversation. You know what I mean? Koji Radical shared it. Shout out to Koji.
Salute to Koji.
Big up Koji, 100%. Loads of people shared it. Loads of people engaged. Shout out to Hip Hop DX as well. UK, they shared it as well.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. But your tweet showed me a lot of people don't know what a big 3 is.
Or they didn't read what he wrote.
Yeah.
I think it's more so they didn't read it. Because like I said, people were mentioning Joe Black and K. Culkin as a big 3.
Respectfully. Do you know what I mean? Nah.
Nah, respectfully. I like Joe Black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Big 3 though.
Nah.
Was he even a big 3 in his gen? Respectfully.
Joe Black.
Joe Black
For
was...
his genre?
Yo, Joe
You could
Black
argue
was...
it.
Yeah, Joe Black
Big
was
three.
massive.
You could argue it.
Yo, Joe
You
Black
could
was
argue it.
massive.
You could argue it. You could argue it.
Yeah.
For his genre.
Because I might have given it to him, Blade Brown, Young's Tef. Giggs was before them, so I wouldn't have...
Oh, you're not putting them all in the same category?
Nah.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, in that case then, yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. So Giggs is kind of like on his own.
Yeah.
And then you got...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in that case, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, lads, I started working on a family tree.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I've started.
Newsflash.
Officially, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to run it by you, man, soon, though. But yeah, I've started.
How many
I want to
fourth-
get it done before the end of the year. I'm pushing myself.
How many forefathers on it?
I've got 5 so far.
Cool.
But it might go down. It might go down or up. I'm still,
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I'm still playing with it.
Boy, that's going to be an episode for the ages.
Yeah, so.
That's been literally his
I'm
pet
gonna run it
project
by
for
you,
so
man.
long.
And then the council, aka NE. And then, be ready to present.
United Nations Security Council meeting.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I hear
That's
it.
been his pet project for a little while, though, isn't it?
I've been talking about it for a couple of years now.
For a minute.
Yeah, so it's about time, man.
It is difficult, but looking forward to seeing how that looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's engaged with us and interacted with us over the last couple of weeks. Even, if you had a wild take or not, we respect it. We love it. That's what rap is all about. Debate. Everybody trying to shoehorn their favourites in. That's okay. As long as we realise and we read what people are saying. That's all I want to say. But yeah, shout out to everybody, new and old, for listening and taking in the pod. Now, before we move on to the actual meat and potatoes of this episode, we all wanted to send our heartfelt condolences to the family of Chris Kaba, who was a 24-year-old young man from South London, Streatham Hill, who was shot and killed by the police earlier this week. The police basically thought that he was in a vehicle that was linked to a previous firearms incident. They basically chased him, blockaded him, and killed him with one shot. He was known in the community as Madix, his rap name, and he was part of the group 6-7 as well. If you don't know who 6-7 is, they're a very landmark South London drill group. And yeah, a heartfelt pouring of emotion since then. Not just the scene, but just like the UK in general, black communities and non-black communities in the UK have just been very, very shell-shocked by the whole event. And yeah, we just want to send our heartfelt condolences to his family. We want to send a rest in peace to him as well. I was at the protest. We're recording this on a Saturday. I was at the protest in Parliament Square earlier today, and it was very, very beautiful, very, very powerful. People like Stormzy and Wretch 2 spoke. And yeah, it was just a very powerful coming together of voices and people who were very much invested and touched by this story. So yeah, I think I speak for all of us when I say rest in power to Chris Kaba.
Rest in power, man.
Love and light to his family, his loved ones. He was set to be a father as well. Just very, very sad. Desperately, desperately sad. I don't know if you guys want to share anything.
Bro, I've got nothing to say, man. Just love and light to his family and loved ones. Yeah, rest in peace, man. I'm not gonna go into it. I don't want to say no more.
I don't want to say nothing that'll get us in trouble. So
No, I hear it. I hear
sending
it.
praise out to his family, sending praise out to everyone that's involved.
I will say something though. The police, yeah, they're a terrorist organization, and I'll put that on record. They've terrorized us from time immemorial, and it's got to stop. So that's what I'll say. Rest in peace to Chris Kaba.
Yeah,
Now-
you hit the nail on the head.
Pardon?
You know, I said you hit the nail on the head.
Thank you, bro. Now, moving on now, we're going to go on to what we've been listening to this week. So, Mohammed, what we've been listening to this week, bro?
So I took a bit everywhere. I went back to Koji's album just because of essentially your tweet, to be honest with you, and obviously his Mercury thing. So I thought, let me go back to
Does
that
that make me
album.
an influencer?
Yeah, and
You
then
say his Mercury thing. People that listen might not know what you're talking about.
so he was on his album got nominated for a Mercury Prize, which is essentially the biggest prize I think you could get in the UK for an album, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Which is a ridiculously good look. So it was in my top 5 anyway. But you know when you just want to double check and you're just like, let me double back and see if I still feel the same way. And I haven't gone back to the album, I'll be honest with you, for like a good month or so, 2 months. So I was like, let me just double check, let me go back to it. And now, yeah, still a top 5 album of the year. Plain and simple. I went to Khaled's album, God Did.
Hove did.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Thank you very much.
Mo
Yemi.
did.
No.
That's the title of this episode.
I like that.
No, honestly, so I went to it. I was like, let me see how God did this. By the way, that name is blasphemy because the album's shit. No, honestly, bruv, calling it God Did, you're a dickhead. The album's whack, man. Like, at this point now, Khaled, I get it. But you know what it is with Khaled's album now?
What do you get, man? Tell me what you get.
With Khaled, what he does essentially, his blueprint is just finding whoever's hot at the moment and putting them on a track, innit? If I don't resonate with who's hot at the moment, I'm not going to resonate with the album. Whereas a decade ago, if you put Nicki on the album, Cole on the album, Kendrick on the album, Big Crit, it's going to resonate. Now when there's 10 little babies, it's not going to resonate the same with me. The album's shit. You lot did downplay Jay-Z's verse. That's to me anyway. I thought...
All I said was that it wasn't a top 30 J verse. That's all.
But that's not... Was it a great verse?
It was a good verse.
What struck you the most about it?
Before I heard it, because you lot were in a group chat talking about him, and I was like, all right, cool, maybe this verse ain't. Because I agree with you, looking back at, what was the last verse he did before this that people really, really overrated?
Neck and Wrist.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool, looking back at it, that verse wasn't it. I thoroughly enjoyed this verse. Like, thoroughly enjoyed this verse. Like,
Is it a top 30 J verse?
No, but that's his barometer.
What do you mean?
If I give this verse to any other rapper and what they're saying is a fact, it's a top 10 verse in their
I
catalog.
don't know about that.
But is your view...
Not from a skill point. If
is-
we're talking about as far as like factual information, cool. But not from a skill set perspective. It's not that amazing of a verse. Lupe broke it down amazingly.
What did Lupe say?
Lupe's basically saying what I'm saying.
What?
That, like, if you're a Jay fan, you will clearly know that this isn't one of his best verses. Clearly.
No, but it's a...
Talk about it.
I'm not... But
And
when
I'm
I
not
when I say great verse, I'm not talking about Jay. I'm just saying it's a great verse.
But is your view of the verse helped by the fact that it's basically a song within a song? It's 3 minutes of Jay.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen since like 20.
So
It's more the moment then.
It definitely is one of them because the first thing I said with
Shout out Gigs
Ozzy
as
and them,
well.
man, the first thing I said to Ozzy and them man was, "Yeah, I need that album ASAP." Like this just made me.
See, now, bro,
this
you
just-
got to be careful with judging like
No, but
verses, songs, lyrics like that just because of the moment. Man.
I can always do with a J album though. It doesn't matter when. He's just that kind of rapper to me. Like 444 came out 5 years ago. Like I can do with a J.
The same thing happened with Kendrick Lamar's Control verse. It wasn't an amazing verse. It was just controversial. On that song, he didn't have the best verse on the song.
Jay
The
Electronica
moment was
one.
just so big. Do you know what I mean? So I think we got to be careful with that, man, because I think it will continue to contribute to diluting art.
We're past that point with Jay though. Every verse he does is a moment.
But Yemi-
He does
Yemi-
is
And
a
I'm not
moment.
mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
But Yemi, you're not on social media, innit? Yemi can't stand when Jay-Z drops a verse.
That's not true.
Because Yemi's...
it's the
when you
hype
see the
that he can't
timeline, bro,
stand.
the timeline is in shambles. But do I think it's one of his greatest verses? It's definitely not top 30.
I just don't
but
like
I still
the,
think
I don't
it's a
like the
good verse.
cocksuckers. I don't like the cocksuckers.
Whoa.
Yes,
Whoa.
I said cock,
God
not dick. I
damn.
don't like the cocksuckers. That's all I don't like.
God
When
damn.
people talk about, oh, this is the greatest verse ever, there was one...
Someone really said
there
that,
was
yeah.
one. There was one channel, there was one Twitter channel that said, is this the best verse in hip-hop history? Now, he was smart because he deleted it.
Was that really a thing?
Yes, it was really a thing. I think I might have quote tweeted it, but then he deleted it. So I don't know if I deleted the R tweet, but he definitely deleted his. That's what I'm talking about. It's the fact that everybody thinks that because it's Jay-Z and because he's Hove, everything he touches turns into flipping gold. No. Neck and Wrist wasn't great. This verse here while nice to hear a 3-minute J verse, he was not moving mountains. If anything, he was talking about the same stuff he talks about all the time anyway. In the same way.
I think
You might not appreciate that because it's come from Yemi. Yemi's not the biggest Jay fan.
Yemi's a hater.
And I'm a Jay stan, but I completely agree.
No, I hear you. I hear
with me. He didn't say nothing new for me. He didn't do nothing for me.
No, it's definitely the same.
I loved hearing like that Jay rap for that long, but it didn't do nothing for me.
Nah, I don't know, man. It just
Not when I'm listening to Rock Marciano pen bars that should be in the Ark of the Covenant.
it's in the what?
Ark of the Covenant, fam.
You know you meant there as well, by
You
the
know what
way.
I'm saying? When I got Black Thought, it's like just doing a madness, bro. Like, I love Jay, man.
That's fair. It's just I generally when
And
I
if
heard
we
that, I was
minimise that and we talk about the specific shout out to Gigs and how the UK
I love that.
and how the UK went on fire.
he hated that.
I know he did.
And how the UK went on fire. Let me try and find it. Let me try and find the what.
Yeah, but what you're about to
basically.
yeah, but what you're about to search
I
for.
went on a rant on our group chat about it, and I was just like, I just don't like the way the UK bends over backwards for whenever we're mentioned by Americans.
It helps though.
But do you think it's a
It
difference?
helps in a sense, but we need to have more decorum when it comes to that. We shouldn't, whenever a rapper or an artist from America, I'm not talking about Jay, I'm talking about Bia. You remember that Bia London video?
Yeah.
Unknown T and
Unknown T
people
was
were
there.
flipping
Yeah,
backup dancers. Like, have some respect for yourself, man. Like, it's not that deep. Sometimes a shout out is sometimes all you need. And if
But
you're
I don't
gassed
think that's
by
about
that,
respecting
cool.
him. I disagree with you with Unknown T. If Jake, say you're a rapper and J. Cole's one of your favorites ever, I don't think there's anything wrong with. I
Bia
agree
is
with
not anyone's
I'm
favourite
not talking about B. I'm talking about Cole here. I'm saying I get it. We do go overboard. But say if you're Unknown T and J. Cole says, "Yo, I'm in your city. Do you want to be my video?" I don't think there's anything internally wrong with saying, "All right, cool, let me show up."
I don't think so either. But I don't think that's what Yemi's saying though.
Yeah, we talk about the bigger context of
I'm
us
talking about the
bending.
bigger
We bend
context
over
of
backwards
us.
for Americans.
Yes, I'm talking about that bigger context because it's like we've got our own thing, and I'm not saying you don't acknowledge what the US are saying about us, but don't be so thirsty. Don't appear
I
so
disagree
thirsty.
with Yemi. I don't think it's that thirsty.
No, you don't see the timeline.
I think it's cool. I think it's nice to have a bit of buzz around the fact that Jay bigged up, a legend from here. Like it's not. I don't think we've had any other artist that's been as big as Jay, or even like when I say big, I mean like as far as like status, even in a generation that's after Jay, talk about any of our prominent UK artists. So like, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world that Jay-Z is talking about gigs. I think it's dope
But for it to shut down the internet,
because it was unexpected.
nah, man.
And I think it's different. Like,
Nah,
it's to me, it's
Nah,
what you
man.
said. I think it's Jay-Z doing it. It's arguably the GOAT talking about the UK, whereas don't really see that. You normally get the Drakes and stuff, yeah, but I do get like I would understand the buzz of like, oh shit, he's actually looking at the UK, but I agree with you at the same time. It's like, yo, we're making great music.
I don't know.
We don't
man.
need to. We don't need to fish for their attention. Like where we are making
I
outstanding
clearly
music.
don't place that much value in a rapper in the US, no matter what level you're at, mentioned in the UK. That doesn't excite me. That doesn't get me going. It will get me going more if you collabed with them,
Yeah.
like Drake did with Giggs and Skepta and Georgia. Not a mention.
And Dave.
And Dave. Not a mention. Maybe that's what I'm. Maybe that's what I'm
Yeah,
at. Plus, a lot of UK heads are very obnoxious with it as well. Like that day, very very obnoxious with it. Oh, Hope sees us. Hope sees us. Grow up, bro.
Is that what they said?
You're 36.
No, honestly, it was a thing where it's just like, I don't think the UK understands how good we are at making music because it's like what you said. You still look up.
Maybe I'm thinking too
to
deep
America.
about it.
No,
Maybe
I
it's
agree
not
with you.
that deep,
We still
but
look up
I
to
don't know.
America on
No, I agree
like a
with
big
you.
brother thing, and it's like we're at a place now where we can stand on our own 2 feet and be like, we don't really need you.
And when they do
And we
stuff
need
like
to
that, it
understand it.
seems as if we're still on
Exactly.
this paternal vibe.
Yeah, I agree,
That's
I agree,
kind of where
But
it
we
kind of
are.
rubs me up the wrong way.
But
we
why
don't need
though?
to
I
be.
think we probably always will be.
But we don't need to be. That's what I'm saying.
Can I?
We've come so far.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do
what I'm
think.
saying.
No, I agree.
But we're still not where we want to be. That we're craving more.
But what are we craving to
we're aspiring
conquer
for
America?
more. To be as big as America, if not bigger. We're always going to be aspiring for that. So why won't there be excitement when, artists from our scene are mentioned by the top dogs over there?
I think those
it
are-
helps.
but I
It
think-
helps with that bridging.
But I think they're mutually exclusive. You can want to aim for that level, but it doesn't mean that when they mention you, you have to cream your pants. And Giggs clearly wasn't. Like, we didn't say anything from Giggs. I'm just talking more so about the commentators, the publications,
Yeah,
the
I
commentators,
agree.
and all
Yeah,
that
I see
stuff.
what you're saying, I see
We're
what you're
creaming our pants because of this stuff. When really and truly, it's cool, but it's only just cool. That's literally all it is, in my opinion.
I'll get you.
Hey, man.
But
I agree.
God Did was trash.
What'd you say?
But God Did was trash.
God Did was trash, and then I thought to go listen to Central C's music because of his freestyle. Just quickly talking about what I've been listening to. I know we've gone on topic, but his freestyle made me go listen to his music.
Did you like the freestyle? His
Freest-
LA Leakers freestyle.
His team are geniuses, man. Like, there's nothing else I can bet Central's team. His team are geniuses.
Do you rate him as a rapper?
He's better than I thought. I'll give him that. That freestyle made me, because I used to think he was whack. Like, there's no two ways about it. But that freestyle, the subtitles. Have you heard of freestyle, Pete?
No.
Dumb question. Yeah, I mean, you definitely heard it.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I thought it was cool. It was decent. But I like Central C. I like his music. And
Yeah.
he can rap.
That's what I'm saying. I genuinely thought he couldn't. And then when I heard a freestyle and I went back and I heard Doja before and I listened to his music, I was like, all right, he's a better rapper than I thought. And I do think he's going to be the one to conquer. I think he's going to be the one to conquer both sides. Just speaking of America. I think if anybody could do it, it might just be Central C.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely doing bits over there anyway. Like, the fact he's even on an LA Leakers freestyle lets you know that streets are paying attention over there.
Yeah.
So, more power to him, really.
Hey, salute to him. What have you been listening to?
Representing. What have I been listening to? I've been listening to a Nigerian artist by the name of Ashake. He dropped a new album called Mr. Money with the Vibe. Ashake, I mean, we've been to a few parties where you've heard his song Sumba with Burna Boy.
Oh.
He also did a song called Peace Be Unto You as well, which is dope. He kind of has a nice blend of Afro beats and amapiano, along with the pidgin and the Yoruba in the mix. And yeah, it was solid. Very, very nice. I liked it. Yeah, man, he's obviously got a big future ahead of him. He's very much got the hearts of literally anyone that's black on Twitter. So, you know, that's always a good start. But yeah, very much enjoyed it, and shout out to him. I've also been listening to the new Kenny Beats project, Louis. Kenny Beats is a producer. He's produced for like Denzel Curry and Slow Tie, and he's very, very well respected on both sides of the pond. He dropped his first tape, Louis, on XL Recordings, actually. And yeah, very, very good.
Whilst you were there?
No. He literally just dropped it. So I didn't know that it was in the works or anything. I'm not sure how much of a name he was when I was there, but yeah, he dropped it. I think he dropped it last week. Very, very good. Very, very soulful. Very much like it. And finally, I've been listening to, and shout out to Saeed for the plug. I've been listening to an artist called Dave Creates. He dropped a project called Amore, which is very cool, bouncy, modern R&B. I don't know if Pete would like it, but it's very, very dope. Dave Creates is very, very nice with it. And yeah, salute to him.
Salute to them all.
Okay.
That's me. Pete?
Been listening to Jules' Sounds of My World, which he dropped, I think it was last year. Yeah, Jules is fire, man. He's always been a dope producer, man. I would love for him to get a bit more shine, just because I feel like he contributes so much to like the Afrobeat world.
He wished he'd get more shine too.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. But yeah, no, I've been listening to that album a lot recently. It's really, really dope. Been listening to Steve Lacy's new album, Gemini Rights, which I really enjoyed. Banging album. I love the way like him and Sid have ascended from the internet. And I was kind of surprised that he has ascended as much as he has, because I didn't think it was going to be him. I thought it would just be Sid. But like, he's done well, and Matt Martians has done well. So yeah, I'm really proud of him as far as what he's done with this album. And even the last one, man, he's done really well.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think Steve or Sid make music as good as the internet?
No, I don't. I'd love them to get back together as
Feel
well.
you.
But I'm enjoying their solo stuff though. It's you know, if that's when they want to express themselves, and that's all good, man. We're listening to Rock Marcy's new album, The Elephant Man's Bones, as well. Bro, what more can I say about like Rock Marcy that I ain't said already?
Wish you'd say less.
In your top 5, right?
That was unnecessary.
I know.
Because I was about to
I like the album too.
Bruv, I was ready to ask a
It was
question and I
easy.
just heard
It was
you.
easy.
That was so unnecessary.
It was an open goal, wasn't it?
Did you say it's in your top 5?
What, all time?
Yeah. I remember. I feel like you said. I feel like you said top 5.
Top 10 though. Yeah, he's just a phenomenal rapper, innit? Do you know the first listen I didn't like it?
For real.
Yeah, based on the beats.
You like the beats?
Alchemist gave him some different batch of beats that I was expecting. I had expectations. I don't usually, but I did this time.
Oh, okay.
And I think that affected how I heard it the first time. Then the second time I was like, yeah, nah, this is nice. I really enjoy it, man. I'm not sure where it ranks amongst Rock Marcy's like catalogue, but for what it is, I really enjoy it, man. Rock Marcy's pain game is still on another level. I told you, man, these bars, should be like in the Ark of the Covenant. I keep telling you, man.
I'll
that.
give you one thing. You've been
This guy said
screaming.
Ark of the Covenant twice.
You've been screaming Rock Marciano's name for
Fam,
fam.
he's one of them ones.
No, but for years, I
He's
give
one
you
of
that.
them
I
ones. I'm
respect that.
telling you, bro. But yeah, really good album, man. Really, really good.
I liked
album.
Alchemist's switch up of beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I mean, second and third listen, I was like, okay, yeah, I could appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't typical. So I can appreciate it for that alone. And then, yeah, finally I've been listening to Black Thought and Danger Mouse Cheat Codes as well. And yeah, that's probably in my top 5 albums of the years so far. Just a phenomenal album, man. I've been waiting for that project for a while because I know they had flirted with it like years ago. And I think it's like assumed a couple of different names. I think they were flirting with Masterpiece Theatre once upon a time and Dangerous Thoughts. So I've been waiting for this for a very long time. So the fact that it's actually happened is like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was really happy with it, man. Black Thought, I hope he's listening. Yeah, Black Thought delivered an album that wasn't boring. He did more than just bar. You know what I mean? And he had the perfect soundscape to do that. Do you know what I mean?
You are sender for him this episode, bro.
Hella shots in
me,
it.
man.
Hella shots.
He knows I love it, man.
Fun fact about this album as well. I had early access to it because I know the PR who is PRing the album, and I sent it to
I
me
won't-
and
you know I'm
PR.
not gonna listen to that.
But Peter wasn't trying to listen
said,
to
no,
it.
but
It was like a
back.
few months before,
Yeah.
but he wanted to wait, and obviously he's clearly glad that he waited.
Do you know what I mean?
You got an album a few months before.
I did, yes.
This guy here, fam.
You
Who
know-
is
you know who your guy
who
is,
is
though,
this
man. You know
guy?
who your guy is,
And it's the
man.
way he said it. I got a few months before. Yo, who is this
You know
man?
who this guy is, man.
Keep up, bruv.
No, honestly, it's hard to.
It's not that hard.
It's with you. It's hard to, man.
It's not that hard. I just know good people in good places.
Hey, man.
That's all.
Friends in
Yeah,
high
that's
places.
all I've been listening to, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then. We'll move on to the first topic then. And this one, we're going to get a little, well, is it deep? Well, it's kind of deep.
Yeah, it's kind of deep.
It's kind of deep. But we kind of wanted to talk about the issue of mental health and how it pertains to hip-hop. Hip-hop and mental health have a very interesting relationship in that it's very much been, like, covered a lot, like, depending on certain artists. But mental health as a concept, I'm not sure how much it permeates in hip-hop generally, even though we have artists that address their own, like, mental states a lot as well. But as an overall community, I'm not sure how high we rank it as far as, like, a concern. And recently we've had, throughout history, we've had, like, Scarface, Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. We've had Harley DiCaprio recently, who basically, he's a UK rapper, who basically wrote a statement talking about how much the music industry has ravaged his mental health along with other things. And we kind of just wanted to have a conversation about the idea of hip-hop and its relationship with mental health. Is it something that we should be paying more attention to? Should labels be legally obliged to, if their artists are going through mental health issues, to help them out? And where our thoughts lie with it, basically. So, boys, hip-hop, mental health. Thoughts?
Oof.
It's what do you say?
It's heavy,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
what I was gonna say. It's heavy because it goes into. To me, it's bigger than hip hop. This question, in terms of it leads into black men and mental health, and do we do enough as men talking about it? If you get what I mean,
We absolutely do.
do we?
I think when we first when we were constructing this topic, I think initially, so the topic itself took form in a couple of different ways. We were initially going to tackle Harley DiCaprio's statement, and then I added the bit about, I guess why I added on a little bit to it was because I was listening to a song by Scarface called "I Seen a Man Die," and don't know why, but I was just listening to a lot of Scarface, and he's got some dark songs. He's got quite a lot of dark songs where he's clearly had mental health issues. He's clearly like been expressing it through his art and that. And then it kind of took me down a rabbit hole of other artists that have done the same. Then I thought about Biggie, with suicidal thoughts and that. The guy had an album called Ready to Die, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? So this guy was clearly like expressing things that were weighing heavy on him in many different ways. And I'm not saying the whole album was about that, but in large quantities it definitely was. And then my favorite rapper of all time, Tupac Shakur, like God knows how many albums or songs he was talking about his mortality. This guy was obsessed with his own mortality. That doesn't come from someone that's not dealing with some sort of mental health issues. You listen to songs like So Many Tears and If I Die Tonight, and Like the list goes on, man. Death Around the Corner. The list goes on. Do you know what I mean, man? Like these are artists that definitely have had mental health issues. So I think to your statement, these are black men that have been screaming out for a minute. But I think where I wanted to take this was us as consumers and how we look at it, because if we enjoy the art, it's easy to just take it and that's what it is. And you know what I mean? You've got a bit of a barrier and a distance to it. So why don't us as consumers make more noise about it? Why do we just
On behalf of the artist?
yeah,
Or?
why do we just enjoy the music and not ask any questions? And in this social media age where you could probably reach out to artists or make more noise about it, why don't we do that? Why do we just accept the art as the art and not think anything more of it? Because a lot of artists have dove into some dark stuff. But we just take it as, they're just being deep and personal and that. Nah, this shit's serious.
I think this is where the blurring of the lines between entertainment and reality are heavily at play. We can listen to that as a form of escapism. We can listen to these kind of songs as relatable. Someone like Kid Cudi comes into my thoughts because I've seen and heard a lot of people say that Kid Cudi, despite his depressive thoughts and everything that he's spoken about and sung about in his music, has helped save their lives. So it's very blurry. Like, some people only see music, whatever the subject matter, as escapism, voyeurism. They listen to this and keep it moving. Others might take more of an emotional interest in it, and they might be more compelled to be concerned about said artist. So I guess it just depends on which side of the fence you're on. I think nowadays, especially, as you said, it is easier for, if you do feel like your favorite artist is suffering, you can just reach out or at them and be like, I'm concerned, this, that, the other. Back in the day, probably not so much. And I suppose back in the day as well, even though Scarface and Tupac and Biggie was doing all this stuff, they were still not necessarily gangsters, but they still had bravado. So it kind of mixed with that. So it kind of muddied the waters in a little bit more because, okay, you're saying this, but you're also saying this. So we don't really know. I mean, I don't know because I was young.
Can I push back on that?
Of course you can.
Like, I think when you're talking about bravado, you're talking about ego, innit? But I think it takes stripping yourself of ego to a certain extent to dive into the stuff that they dive into, though. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't know how much that mattered or matters. Because if they're expressing it, it's not coming from an egotistical place, I don't think. When you're telling the world that you're having suicidal thoughts or, you're in a dark space about this, you're in a dark space about that, and, your mortality is like heavily on your mind and that. That's not coming from an egotistical place or a bravado place.
But, as I said, escapism, I think, is at play. Because even if you are a fan of a Tupac, let's say, and he's saying thug life here, but he's also saying death around the corner here. If you're listening to music only for escapism and voyeurism, you might not necessarily take as seriously someone who's saying they're suicidal versus someone who's saying they'll kill someone. You know what I mean? So with that, again, it just depends on which side you're on. Like, if you are someone that values the emotional versus the bravado or the other way around, that's going to dictate your responses to things. Like, if we were our age listening to Tupac, we probably think there's something wrong with this guy. But people back then, maybe they didn't as much. You know what I mean? So it very much depends on the person. It very much depends on the consumer. Is it a responsibility of consumers to be concerned or, kind of act on it? Again, I think it depends. I think it really, really depends on how they really feel about it. Because if there's people who are already like, of a disposition to be concerned about, young black men, especially rapping about these sort of things, then they might be a little more concerned. But if they're not, then they're not going to be. You know what I mean? What do you think, Mo?
It's a tricky one because I'm hearing what you're saying, but I agree with you in terms of take Tupac because he's going to be the prominent person we talk about because I feel like he was the most open that I've listened to in terms of mental health. But if you give me a song like If I Die Tonight and then the next song is Hit 'Em Up, it's almost the bravado is covering the mental state they're going through.
Which is what a lot of black men do.
Exactly. That's why I say it's a bigger conversation with black men because I do feel like we cover a lot of mental health with bravado. So as a consumer, yeah, you're going to give me a song that's talking about your mental health, but if the flip song is, I'm about to do X, Y, Z, I'm completely away from what I've just heard, if you get what I mean. It's not a constant. So I think that's the problem with mental health. If it's not a constant and then you've got one song that is, but then the next 5 songs are talking about X, Y, Z, it's going to be hard even though I know what you've spoke about is dark, I'm not going to go back 5 songs and remember what you're going through. Unfortunately, just as a consumer, because we knew as a kid when Biggie named his album Ready to Die, even years later, I have never really looked at it like, yo, this guy was really talking about his own mortality in that album. And obviously, I knew it's in your face,
Neither do I.
but I've never really sat on it and I've gone, yo, this is really dark stuff to be naming your album Ready to Die. And
What about today, though? Do you not think that today?
But now, yeah, I'm saying at 30 now, yeah. But I'm saying for a long time in my life, when I heard Ready to Die, I was just like, yo, he's facing your own mortality and it happening. There's no, do you know what I mean? It's just, it didn't.
With Ready to Die in particular, I see it kind of more as a double meaning, especially now. Ready to Die in the sense of like, I don't give a fuck. Whatever happens, I'm good. I'm ready. So that's the bravado.
Yeah.
Ready to Die, I'm actually going through shit. That's the emotional. Whereas there's an interplay here. And I think there always has been, even if we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I interrupted you.
No, I feel like that's always been the life of a black man. It's always been the bravado versus what you're really going through. That's why I say it's a bigger conversation. Now, in terms of your question, do the record label have a duty? I think 1,000% you do. No matter who you are. If you're signing 16, 17, 18-year-olds, you can't tell me you don't have... When you signed Hardy...
Hold on. Hold that thought. Don't lose that.
I won't.
Before we get to the record labels, though, I think where I was kind of taking us was just the hip-hop community as a whole, including the media, because they're great for encouraging beef and reporting on beef and that. But and they study these artists because they have to interview them. They listen to the music. So even in the night, I'm talking about specifically the 90s, it would have been great for them to, I guess, hone in on some of these stuff, especially when they are interviewing these
Can I ask you a question?
and ask questions about mental health and things of that nature, even though it was back in the 90s and it was more of a taboo, but still.
Can I ask you a question?
And I would expect that of today. And I think it happens more today, where you got like the Breakfast Clubs and Charlemagne's and that, but that hasn't always been a thing, though.
But that's because I think... I don't mean to interrupt you. Did they care? Because who ran the...
Yeah, I was going to say.
Who ran Hot 97? Who ran Power 105? Who ran... Sweet. Do you know what I mean? All of these stations in the 90s, there was just one end goal. And that's whatever it is to make money, we need to make money. We don't care how these guys are. And I still feel like that in life. Now, yeah, you've got the odd Charlemagne's and who asks you straight, Sways who will ask you, yo, how are you doing mentally? But we're giving them we're giving them way too much credit if we think that they should be doing a job that we know they don't care about. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely feel like in the 90s, the last thing on their mind, especially how taboo it was, and it was black man, and they didn't want us to prosper anyway. It's, let these guys kill each other. Whatever sells albums, sells albums.
And this is no disrespect to anybody that was a journalist or any forms of hip-hop media in the 90s. They just wasn't as sophisticated. They weren't as nuanced. If anything, they were fanning the flames of bravado.
Yeah.
The East Coast, West Coast beef. You know, what the Source and Double XL were doing for so long, beefing with each other. So, if anything, they were taking the conversation away from what would have been more sophisticated conversations about mental health, if there were going to be any, to sell copies and, you know, fan the flames that they can then later report on. You know what I mean? Versus now, where the wider context of the world is concerned way more with mental health, and that's trickled down to hip-hop media, as it would. We have people like Charlemagne, we have people like all these kind of commentators now, Joe Budden, focusing on that more. Probably because they've been through their own episodes of mental health issues as well, so they know what it's like, and they want to be able to open that up to other people as well. So,
but I feel like it's like what you said. I think as time goes on, mental health is becoming less taboo. Like when we was growing up, it was the last thing in my household anyway that there's no way a conversation is coming up about your mentally how you doing. It's just, do you know what I mean? So I just feel like as time goes on, it's just gonna become a bigger conversation as it needs to be. But early 90s, late 90s, late 90s, 2000s, I do think it was just a case where the bravado was just everything that we was getting.
There were some like journalists that were sophisticated enough to bring these things up. And I'm remembering like some Tupac interviews, and he sat down with a couple of people that definitely could have. I think someone like an Angie Martinez definitely could have, because she was quite strategic and not releasing her full interview that she did with him. And I'm not saying that's coming from a mental health perspective, but it's coming from a care perspective or fanning the flame. So if you've got some of that sort of attitudes, there probably was a few more as well. There was an individual called Ed Gordon as well who interviewed Tupac, I think, just before he went to prison for the allegations. And he was asking him some real poignant questions. Do you know what I mean? And there was even I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a guy that interviewed him whilst he was incarcerated as well.
Oh,
He was also asking him some, important questions as well. So there were people that could have done it. Probably not as prominent as the other shit, but there were people that could have done it.
But would they have been as loud, if you get what I mean?
Probably not. Actually, not. Maybe.
But
Because it's Tupac.
But I'm talking about in the 90s. In terms of no social media, no nothing. Do you know what I mean? Getting an interview, there was only a few mainstays. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, you could get an interview from every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So one person can ask you something, and one person can. I think in the 90s, the way it was all new, that it was going to be generic stuff that you hear 9 times out of 10, and that's why a lot of it was East-West. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I say that hip hop media wasn't as sophisticated, it's not to discount anyone in particular. It's just general hip hop media.
Yeah.
Like generally, they weren't caring about that sort of thing. And to keep it a buck, a lot of black people didn't believe in mental health issues.
Facts.
Didn't believe it. They thought it was all a bag of rubbish. Didn't believe in therapy, all that stuff. So that plays into it as well. Even if someone like Tupac is saying all the stuff that he's saying, okay, cool, entertain me.
And we still go through that now. So imagine it's 2022 and we still have issues with mental health as black men talking about it. And so imagine in the 90s, it would have been times up. Do you know what I mean? So I do think it's a case where it's a bigger conversation about us and how we are as
Do you
people.
think the labels have a responsibility
1000%.
to ensure that their artists have the support that they need to embark on this journey in the
When you
industry?
sign a kid straight off the streets at 18 years old, 17, you have a responsibility to give him every facility he needs to pave his way. You have that responsibility. When you sign a kid fresh off, bro, if I got a HR and I could talk mental health with my regular job, and you're talking about giving a kid,
about HR as well.
do you know what I mean, though, innit? And you're giving a kid a multi-million-dollar deal, fresh from Chicago, 18 years old, about to throw him in the limelight,
Brixton.
or wherever it is. And you're about to throw him in the limelight, not knowing the amount of abuse he might get, what's going on roadside, what's going on if he has to watch his back. There's no way these men don't have a responsibility to be like, look, this is a person you can speak to every week, bi-weekly, however you want to do it. But this is your go-to person to just... They 1,000%.
Especially if you're giving them an advance and you're expecting them to reach certain numbers and reach certain targets, but you're not giving them all of the materials to really cope with reaching that. You know what I mean? Idealistically, they are responsible. But obviously, this is a business. They only care about their bottom line. If the mental health stuff that they talk about in their music is what's selling, then they're going to encourage that a lot more. I think Hardy Caprio pretty much said the same thing. He was giving the labels songs and projects that they were not caring about because they weren't the songs that made him blow up.
Yeah.
So even that takes a toll because you're pouring your heart out artistically, you think you're making strides, but the label wants you to stay in this box. I imagine that can do a lot of damage as well. So yeah, I think they are responsible. They should be anyway. And to be honest, it's not even that difficult. It's really not that
It's
difficult.
not.
You've
It's
got
not at all.
everything. Labels have got all this money at their disposal. Like they could link up with some therapist, or they could link up with a foundation, some kind of referral scheme. They could do anything if they really, really wanted to. It's really not that difficult. If anything, I think the labels are more responsible than consumers because they're hearing all of this stuff before we do. They're pushing all this stuff out. They're signing these people. They basically own these people.
There's only so much a consumer could do. Yeah, we could DM. Yeah, we could. Bro, a record label can physically make someone be like, yo, before your album comes out, I need you to just do this. Just to make sure you're right mentally before we throw out your album. And then a rapper 9 times out of 10 will be like, all right, cool. If I've got an album on the way and I just need to speak to someone for my psyche, that's fine. The record labels can have physical control over an artist. We don't.
I'm talking more about major labels as well, just to make it clear.
Yeah,
I'm not
same,
sure about
same.
independent ones.
Question, and I don't know if you're allowed to answer this. When you were at Excel, did they have a department that dealt with their signees' mental health?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know
Was
of.
it ever a discussion?
No. Not. I maybe it was, but I was never in those rooms. It was never a discussion when I was around, and that's not to say that they weren't happening.
Yeah.
But I never heard them,
Okay.
so I was never aware. But as it pertains to major labels that have a long history of all this, especially as it pertains to like, signing people on 360 deals and, basically owning everything that they make and all of that as well, that can all take a toll. So as much as you're taking from these artists, you can give a little as far as like support in that regard. And as far as consumers are concerned, yeah, I mean, we can raise our concerns and we can, try to be there for, our favorite artists and stuff. But that, I feel like
It's only list limited.
that maybe only goes so far. Maybe one fan's like pleas for an artist to take care of themselves will make the artist think twice. But
And that's what I was thinking, because I think we're probably way more powerful than we realise. Like, I don't think the music industry moves without consumers. So I think the more consumers that are aware of their favourite artists going through stuff, whether it's through their music or interviews or whatever, and the more they bring shine to it, and the more they're vocal about it, it will influence or impact something.
But won't they need to speak to someone? I hear you, a fan can do
Even
a
if
lot,
it's just
but
a
like,
tweet, even if it's bare tweets,
yeah, but
even if it's bare tweets, like that will vibrate something. But even if the artist sees it, it vibrates something. Somebody sees that.
no, I
That's my
understand
point.
that, but my point
I
is,
just think the consumers can't be so like blind to a lot of the stuff too, man. Like, I think we're also culpable as well of like, not encouraging. I don't even know what my word is. My brain's a bit frazzled right now. But like, what's the word I'm trying to find? Perpetuating like these artists not looking after themselves. If they're rapping about taking these mad drugs and it's selling music and that, are they not going to take more drugs?
are we completely absolving the artists themselves though?
No, we're not. I'm just saying partly. I'm just speaking as a consumer myself. I just feel like us as consumers could do a little bit more across the board. So for this particular topic, I'm mainly talking about like what we can do as well. Not to say that the artist doesn't have responsibility for themselves, and I still think the owners should be more. It's them really, but record labels have a huge part to play in it too. But consumers also as well. We can't like not have any sort of responsibility here. You know what I mean? We're like, we're a huge part of why they may make the art the way they do. So like, do you know what I mean?
But maybe it goes.
but
down.
what if they don't have that? Some artists generally just ain't about.
What do you mean?
Like, what? Some artists ain't always on social media.
Okay.
So it's like, at that point there, I think with fans, it's limited to what we can do. It just comes down to if they use social media, if they don't. If they don't use social media, we can't. If they do, we can. Do you get what I mean? That's why, to me, it's always going to fall with... The artist's always got a responsibility upon themselves to get help if they need it.
I agree with you.
But to me, the head honcho is always going to be, bro, I've never seen in a place where you could sign someone for a ridiculous fee. You're happy them talking about killing people left, right, and centre. But you can't get them help. Like, it's just stupidity on and like, the more I think about it, generally, the more I'm just like, the more I get heated. Because I'm generally just thinking about it, I'm just like,
And we
bro,
should.
this is ridiculous.
Fam, I think about Amy Winehouse quite a lot, you know. Like, this babe was really singing about they're trying to make me go to rehab and that. And no one took that shit serious, you know. Like, we all celebrated that tune like it was a banger.
It is a banger, though.
But that
I'm not refuting that.
Of course,
Do you know what I mean?
respectfully.
But she was clearly, like, crying out for some sort of help there. And that's not to say that her team didn't try and do a thing in that. But from a consumer's perspective, though, it was just really interesting how we all reacted to that tune.
But
But
that
what
might
are we meant to
speak-
do? Not like it.
That
I
might
don't have an answer for you.
Do you know what I mean, though, innit?
Yeah.
It's like,
that might speak to how we see mental health as well. We might not necessarily take it as seriously either. Some of us, anyway. When we hear stuff like that, it might not register to us because we don't necessarily care about mental health either. We might just think, oh, that was a bar, or that was an amazing song. Like, look at the struggle, but you know, I'm vibing to it, sort of thing. So across the board, there needs to be some learning or unlearning or some kind of education as it pertains to mental health. There's no one who. I mean, there's definitely responsibility on all parts: the artists, the labels, the consumers. Generally, we all need to just like do better, basically. At least that's how I think.
Yeah.
no, I agree. But it's those, I really wanted to swear, but I'm going to behave.
You're just anti-label.
No, it pisses me off.
Like, every time we talk about labels, you're just like, fuck the labels.
No, because I just think it's... how can I word this? We know who owns the labels.
Oh boy.
And we know who we're talking about when we're saying going through mental health in rappers. So you see how it looks. Do you get what I mean? Or can you not? Am I by myself here?
No, I hear you.
That's what I'm saying. You can see the optics here.
No, but you say that, bro. But then you got the Diddies and that. Do you know what I mean? Still doing the thing with their labels and that, and they're just as culpable as the big dogs.
No, you're 1,000%, and we will deal with that in house.
In house.
I feel you.
But yeah, I think we're all in agreement here, though. The fans can do more. The record labels should do more, and the artists seek help if you need it, man. But it's easier said than done.
So essentially, we should all do more.
Yeah, for
Across
sure.
the
Just
board.
as a community, man. Hip hop's a community. Black music's a community. Do you know what I mean? Just across the board, as a community, we can all do more to help.
Yeah, and I think hip hop culture is a microcosm of black culture, especially a lot of like world culture generally. And as culture shifts towards having a deeper understanding of mental health, that eventually is going to trickle down to artists, hopefully to labels, and especially to consumers as well. And with social media and with our favorite artists being so visible to us and us knowing what they're going through on a day-to-day, it's going to wise a lot of us up to what they're actually going through and what help they need from us. And we can try and enact that help.
Yeah, I mean, media play an important role too. So if I didn't make that point clear earlier, they're very important. When they sit down with these artists, like they need to raise certain points.
Yeah. I think Charlamagne always starts an interview with how's your mental health?
Yeah,
So, it's happening.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to move on now to the fun topic. And very, very simple. Obviously, hip-hop has a lot of weird and wonderful characters with weird and wonderful music. And we're going to take it in turns to name some rappers that we like everything about except their music. Ooh. We'll start with Peter.
Oh, fun. Thank you. I love that because it's going to be fun.
Bro, do you know who I like? Really enjoy just as a person. They're flipping hilarious. I think they're so
what's
funny.
coming.
Personality is amazing. Listen to their interviews all day. Whenever they call into the Joe Biden podcast, I love it.
What's coming?
Just can't get into his music, man.
yeah.
There's something about his flow.
I hate you for
There's
this.
something about his voice.
I don't like you for this.
He just don't hit.
Talk to me, PR.
He's not even really a rapper.
Just
to
release
me.
the trigger,
PR,
man.
talk to me
He
nice.
just he don't have like a rapper voice.
Let me out my misery.
Yeah, me talk to me.
That's
I
not
mean,
true.
PR.
He ain't got a rapper voice to
Say
me.
it
The
one more
cadence
time.
ain't there.
That's a damn lie.
It
Say the
just
cadence ain't
for
there.
me. It
Shame
ain't
the
there
devil,
for me.
man.
Chat to me. Who's
Feel
the name?
me? Vince Staples.
Oh.
Nah, shame the devil, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
It's just I just can't do it, man. I've tried. I want to. I want to like him. I want to like his music rather because I like everything else about him. I just can't get into his music, man.
Have you listened to his last album?
Absolutely not.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a summary of who Peter is.
Feel me? All right, man. Well, salute to Vince Staples.
God damn.
Yeah, man.
It's been pent up, clearly.
For what it's worth, I hear you.
Thank you.
And not as much
You're
as
a
him.
culture. We've established
No,
this.
see what I'm saying? Why is it when you don't like someone, you're uncultured? But man, I'll do the podcast with you, man. But for what it's worth, yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love his interviews.
Yeah.
Loved him on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's someone else who I like in his interviews as well. He seems like he's good people's and he's always for us and all of that. But I think he's a shit rapper. Vic Mentor.
You think he's shit?
I think I can't listen to Vic Mentor. I can't do it. But whenever I see him, he's for us.
He ain't shit though.
He's at a I take that
definitely
back.
not shit.
No, he's not a shit rapper. I don't like his music. Can't listen to it. Can't do it. Won't do it. But he seems like a great human being.
I hear it.
So salute to him.
To be honest, he flip flops between being a good human being and being a bit of a dickhead.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, but doesn't matter now if you don't like him.
And nah, not for me. And then there was one more. You can say who it is. I'm gonna find out my notes who does second.
I've got three. Yeah, I kind of yeah.
Can I guess one?
Go on.
Wale.
No, you don't like him as a person.
That's a good shout. You know what is Wale? I'm indifferent to him as a person, and I'm indifferent to his music. So it's not like I don't like his music. I'm indifferent to it. I gave him like 3 tries, 3 albums, and I just wasn't impressed. But no, I'm indifferent to Wale. I've got one of the, and this might cause some controversy, one of the hottest rappers of the year, He's been everywhere. He dropped his album, I think, in the middle of summer or something, or just before summer. You know, some people like him for his coolness. You know what I mean? Some people like him because of his style. You know, shout out to Amelia. He was on the chicken shop date. Jack Harlow. I like him as a person. Can't stand his music. Not at all. Don't rate it.
Yeah, I mean, you got Full House.
I think he's someone I could definitely hang with and could chill with, and that he's a cool guy. But his music, yeah, nah. No, thank you. So that's Jack Harlow. I've also got a guy who I really wanted to like his music, but it's just not for me. Lil Uzi Vert.
Oh, that's a great shout.
I don't really like Lil Uzi Vert's music, but I find him entertaining as a person. Like, the guy got $1 million flipping diamond on his flipping forehead. If that's not entertainment, I don't know what is. But he's also got hands for a short guy.
And he's hella sassy.
And his girlfriend is phenomenal. Shout out to JT.
Shout out to JT. He's hella sassy as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't lie.
He just lives his life, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's his world, and we're just living in it. You know what I'm saying?
I fuck
So
with
you know, I fuck with Uzi as a person, but his music, keep that. And finally, he's another one that I wanted to really like his music, and I think he's a nice person. Joe Budden made him a meme for years on Everyday Struggle, and I don't know if he's really shaking it off, but he's definitely like, you know, become a personality in and of his own right. Lil Yachty.
I had him in my list.
Lil Yachty.
Wallahi, I had him on my list.
Lil Yachty. I tried, man. And I think I've got maybe one song of his that I like. But outside of that, nah, man, I can't do it. Sorry, bro. But as a person, fuck with him. I think we need more Yachties in rap generally.
No, we bloody well don't.
All right, said the old head.
God damn. I had Yachty on my list. I had Uzi, but I took him off because I was like, it's a weird one. I like him more as a person than I do his music, if that makes sense. And that's my son. I don't like my son's music too tough, but I really want to.
Didn't you do an appreciation?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. As a person, and he's a rapper. Don't get me wrong. He can bar off, like he can rap. But I wish his music hit my soul. It don't go through my chest.
It doesn't reach the solar
Like,
plexus.
I can't lie. It doesn't even go through my left breast fam. You know? I
he's
can't
a
lie.
bastard.
It hits me right. Yeah, it hits me here, and then it reflects.
Damn.
But he's a great human being.
So you're like,
Yeah.
you're like Kid Buu.
I see what you done there.
Yeah, you're like Kid Buu, and
Hey,
everything
man.
just bounced off him, or like Raditz or Vegeta. Like the first time we saw
you're
Vegeta.
really Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, come on.
Hey man, but Yachty was on my list as well. But I took Uzi off. But Lil Yachty is definitely on my list because he seems like good people's.
I hear it.
KSI seems like good people's as well, but he can't rap to save his life.
His music is dead. To be
His
fair.
music is trash.
That's a good shout. I was about to ask if we got any UK ones, but KSI's a good shout.
Yeah,
He's good at everything else. Like, he's good at making money. Like, he knocked out 2 men in like he made a mockery out of Swarms in that boxing match.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was always gonna happen.
Swarm's ain't a rapper either though.
Swarms ain't a rapper.
No, let's be honest.
He doesn't make great music.
Yeah, that one song was it like her,
He did a song called Deliveroo as well.
and nobody cared.
No one cared.
You know that? Imagine on Instagram, he had a whole fake delivery thing where he got caught delivering food. And then somebody chased him. Oh my God, Swarms is there. Became a big thing. He dropped the song because obviously it was set up.
Yeah, people actually thought he was the Deliveroo.
Yeah.
Rapper. Like he fell off so hard.
And he was doing it all for a video that nobody watched. God bless him though.
God bless him.
God bless him, honestly. God bless him. I think he's going to become a YouTube now because, you know.
He probably should.
He should.
Because he did a lot over lockdown. He was doing like, not like quarantine radio, but he was doing something similar.
The UK version.
And he gained a lot of followers and people forgot about his music. And then the next time we heard of his music, he was doing Deliveroo. So, and then he was getting boxed
Hey,
by
man,
KSI.
the game's the game.
Yeah.
Anyone else, Pete?
Nope.
No one else? Where are you?
I think if I was gonna go with anyone in UK, it would have been KSI. So thank you for that.
Hey, man.
Drake, you got any?
For UK.
No,
Anywhere.
want to say Kendrick Lamar because you don't like him. See what I'm saying? This guy's a nutter, fam.
You're wild.
He's a nutter.
Millions? Damn. To be fair, a lot of people don't like Millions music. I don't know why.
Oh.
You know.
In that case, I'd missed because I genuinely think he's a good guy. I just can't.
Missed.
I can't do it.
Damn, you don't like Miss Music?
Who?
You would
Missed.
love Mrs. Music.
I've listened to it. It's just, you know, it's that American arrogance with the accent, innit? That London
from
people
Birmingham,
have.
so-
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. That London people have outside London.
Okay.
That's how I feel like I am sometimes. It's like, I can't do it.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
right.
the way America look at us is how people in London look at anyone outside London when it comes
My
to
friend, you
rapping.
need to grow up.
No, I agree. It's just, hey man, salute. But I like him as a person, so salute to Mist.
All right, fair enough. Cool. We've reeled off a lot more names than I thought we would. So salute, guys, and salute Drex as well. But that is it for episode 77. So thank you once again for listening, and thank you very much for watching if you're watching. Any shout outs, boys, before we take the people out?
Cleo Soul.
And actually, she was at Not No Carnival.
Oh, I swear.
She brought Inflow and the
Big up Inflow as well.
and the wonderful
Always.
child.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Salute to all of them.
Yeah, salute to all of them. Well,
Nah, actually, no. It's an easy week, honestly. Who do I want to shout out? Oh, no, that's going to get us in trouble. No, man.
Big up. I Cookaletta.
oh my days.
That you going to
Really?
leave here?
Yeah.
My Cookaletta.
From my P Valley watchers know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, man, you got anyone to shout out?
I want to shout out Koji Radical one last time.
Oh, yes.
Because
Salute to Koji.
he shared our tweet, the tweet that I told you guys about in the intro. And he invited us to his after party for the Mercuries. The Mercury Prize ceremony itself didn't happen. Why didn't it happen, Mo?
Unfortunately,
That laugh is nasty.
Unfortunately, guys, this is had for me to be serious. Unfortunately, the Queen died. That's why it didn't happen.
96 years old.
How old was she?
She lived a long time,
years
no?
old. Queen
What
Lizzie.
did you say?
She lived a long time.
Hey, man, when you live through... Hey, man, she's lived a long time. Can't lie.
Why do you think she lived so long, Mohammed?
We may need to wrap up.
Wait, hold on.
before he
Ask me
even
one more
finishes
time.
that
No,
sentence.
ask me one more time. Ask me one more time.
I'm asking you one more time.
Ask me one more time,
No,
please.
but wrap up,
you
man.
watched
He's going to
Harry
get us in trouble.
Have you
Wrap
watched
up,
Harry
wrap up.
Daniel, has someone here
Yo,
watched
cut
Harry
his
Potter?
mic. Cut his mic, man.
Yo!
Yo, you got to bleep that. All that out, man.
But yes, I think I speak for all of us when I say, you know, the Queen, she'll be missed by some people. I don't know if she'll be missed by anybody in this room, but, you know, salute to the people who will miss her, I guess. But yeah, shout out Koji Radical. Shout out the Queen, I guess.
No, never.
Ah, cool.
We're not about to do that.
Shout out Rescinded.
Yeah.
Cool. And fine. We'll wrap up there then. So thanks once again for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Till then, follow us on the socials. We're at Rhymes Dimes Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Hit that bell so that you're notified whenever we drop new content. Check out our album reviews. Check out our segments. Check out our full episodes. More and more stuff in the pipeline for you. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on all things Rhymes Like Dimes. And until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.
Stay
Peace.
blessed and highly favored.